Good afternoon, our viewers of Civic Space TV. Welcome to Women Rise, Women at the Front Lines. This is a space for you, a lady out there, to motivate you, to encourage you, to uplift you. We bring to you ladies who have done something in their lives, ladies who have a story to tell, ladies who have walked journeys, and through these journeys, we are able to learn, they are able to inspire you, you're able to pick one or two things that are going to also make you something in future, all in your life. Yes, my name is Nalwanga Radhia. I'll be taking you through today's conversation, and I have a very interesting guest with me here today. Yes, but before I introduce her, you can follow all our conversations on Civic Space TV, on all our social media handles. We are on Twitter at Civic Space TV, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Don't forget to hit the subscription button and notifications so that you're always aware of all the new episodes that we bring to you. Yes, today with me I have someone in the money sector. We are going to talk more about money. Yes, money is very important. It's a very big aspect in our lives. She's going to tell us more about money, about banking, and I'm very happy to host her today. I have Hajat Nalwanga Radhia. You're welcome, Hajat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
You're welcome. Then.
Yes. Hajat, you can say hello to our viewers.
Hello, viewers. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be at Civic Space this afternoon to have just a simple conversation with you. It doesn't mean that whatever I'm going to give out is relevant, but I'm just requesting the public to pick only those viewers that will benefit you in your capacities. So thank you so much, Mildred.
You're welcome. And yes, we start with the conversation. So Hajat, you're going to tell us more about yourself, a person out there who doesn't know Hajat Radhia. Can you describe yourself to our viewers?
Okay, thank you so much. First and foremost, before my introduction or description, I would like to thank Civic Space TV for this opportunity. Normally, everybody outside there needs to be inspired.
Yeah,
people fail not because they cannot manage, but just because they need somebody to bring them back whenever they lose hope in something.
True.
So Civic Space TV, you've been there for women. Most especially, we shall say that you are an advocate.
Wow, thank you, Hajat.
For women, yeah.
Thank you for the compliment.
All right. Now, my name's Nalwanga Radhia. Yes, I am a married lady.
Wow.
With children, quite a number of them. In Buganda, we have a saying, in Buganda, tetubala abaana. How many do I have? Just leave that one at that point. Just get to know my mother. And I'm the MD, Hijaz Finance. Hijaz is a national circle run on the principles of Islamic banking and finance. Yes.
Wow, Hijaz Finance. Okay, before we go into what Hajat is doing, what Hajat does, we need to know more a bit about her. Hajat, you can tell us, who was Nalwanga growing up? When you're growing up, which kind of child was Nalwanga?
30 years before.
Yes, 30, wow, 30 years before.
Yes, so much. Nalwanga grew from the village setting. She's born of Butambala district, near Gomba. You take off from Masaka Road and then deep there.
And I'm from
it takes you like a full hour to reach where I do stay on a village a polygamous family. My father, is a Muslim.
A Muslim.
And they do practice that.
Yes.
And to us, we are proud of it.
Yeah.
Because of its benefits. If I start to actually
Talk about
give
that.
you a few benefits we get from the polygamous family, actually, you will get interested, and almost every lady will ask for it.
Wow. Oh, that is interesting.
Actually, before we go any further, for you to perfect in what you're doing, in your career, your child growing, development, and talk about everything, you'll love a polygamous family.
Wow.
Whether you like it or not. Okay, let us leave that one aside. But my father was a man. He's still alive. He's called Sheikh Luanga Sulaiman, with my mother and other mothers of mine. Nalwanga grew in a family whereby she was the only girl in a number of boys for a certain period of time.
Oh, that is.
I think it took me like 7 years or 6 when I was living with only boys. So I can play boy games.
Girl.
You see? Because there were so many boys around me, they could bring in other games. I can even do football, volleyball, those funny games.
Now me, I'm thinking of the kind of love that you
Oh
got
my
from
God.
everyone.
But I was a tough girl. Because sometimes when you're doing your housework, these boys tend to be lazy. You tell him wash the dishes, he doesn't. Do this, he doesn't, and you're like, okay, you wait. Because I was somebody who used to help the mom in preparing whatever dishes. And then I could say, I'll give you a lit at that particular
When you're giving out food.
So I could bring them near to participate in the housework. They used to go down in gardens and collect those. You know the village setting, eh? They enjoyed it. So Nalwanga, that was her. And at least after some years, our father brought us some girls. So I got sisters after some good time. But it was around P5, P6. But just imagine, during that time, I was the only girl.
The only girl.
The father was there for me, the mothers,
mother,
and even
the
the other mother,
brothers,
even the aunties.
everyone.
They could call, Sula, send me your girl so that I can stay with her.
Wow.
And the father was like, she's asking to take you. At the same time, I need to stay with you. There was a certain game that we played. I don't want to narrate it. Later on, my aunt was like, hey, this gentleman, he did not tell me that he's telling you. Okay, that is that. And I grew from a humble family. Not so poor, but at least in a moderate style. Because our fathers, that time, they could work hard to maintain their families. Just imagine somebody who is having 2 wives at the same time. And he needs to sustain them together with their children. And my father had some elements of teaching. So we even got, he had friends who could send their children to our home. Yes, Khalifa, my children, let them go from your home so that they can attain that education. Those from far areas were, by that time, our time, we used not to have so many schools that could provide what parents want. So they kept sending their children to us, and we lived together. So, and together with the other moms, they used not to stay in the same family with mine, but they were there. Okay? Basically, that is that. About my
The
education.
childhood, yes. So it will take us to your education. Where did you go to school
But
to?
before that, I
How
was a playful girl.
playful.
Indeed. And every
I can
time
imagine you being amongst the boys.
you see, they could always call you. We are nearing what is it? A healthy center 3. So it has a big playground. So all the time they could provide the balls and it's like, hey, Nalwanga, come. Banange, Mama could leave you with some dishes to prepare and they could burn out.
So maybe I may ask, around the neighbors, you didn't have girls you play with, the neighbors?
They were
children.
there, but my father was a tough man. At that time, he could not allow you to just write on other people's families.
Okay.
He wanted you to concentrate at home with your fellow brothers and sisters. You know, there is a lot that our children learn from those others' families. If they could need to play with me, they had to come to our
your
home. Yeah. And what I
think parents, we should pick
indeed
something from this.
And I actually got it as well. I don't allow my children to go in other people's homes.
True.
And at this very moment, with very many cartoons promoting the
and
LGBTs,
whatever that is going on,
and those children to your neighbors who play different games you don't know, the mama and the tatas, my dear. Actually, it was a good lesson for me, and I thank my father specifically. The mama was not so tough. You know, mothers are like, eh? But my father actually did a very great job.
wow.
So, Haji Khalifa, wherever you are, I love you.
Parenting, that is very key.
Yeah.
So, Hajat, you being a very playful girl, how were you in class? Was it
but
the same in class?
I was not. Actually, at that time we did not have kindergartens. I remember at the beginning, I was this side of Kampala with my mom, and then we used to go to those schools, even the Sunday schools. I attended those Sunday schools, and I liked them at that age. Then later on, we shifted to the village, and I started my primary 1. I didn't remember the time, but I just remember when I finished my P7,
your P7
primary living, in a school called Kavasanda Muslim boarding school in 1997.
Wow.
1997. And in that school, since my father had some elements of teaching, he used to teach that side of Arabic, where I teach you how to pray, how to do this. So he was there. So in most cases, he was near me. And I was a day scholar by that time. And at a certain time, my father was not somebody who had money at that time. They could even chase me from school for school fees balances. And every time we could find you back home, we could, where are you going? Can you please turn? We go back. Oh my God. But just imagine, what time is it? Even past noon. You know, when you're sent home and you're in a day school, you're like, you move as if
the way you want,
together with friends. And sometimes you could even run before mentioning your name. That, hey, Nalwanga, you go back. But because you have had the other ones, your friends
going home.
So during that time, I was given being a playful girl. But later on, I finished my primary living, and I joined my secondary level. In 1998, I went for my senior 1. And I think my father learned a lesson from my primary. So he decided to take me to a boarding section. And it was like, this time round, I want you to concentrate. So I was there up to senior 6. So I'm an OG of Civic Secondary School.
Wow.
Still
Mighty
we are
school.
based in Butama.
I know.
We had a very good director, HM, that impacted some skills in us, which I wish even other schools can borrow. It was a school with so many pupils. Are they pupils?
Students.
Students.
Students. Secondary.
Secondary.
So
So
students.
very many, but they could manage us. We had a class. I remember our senior 5 were around 500 students.
Oh,
with the streams, but they could manage us.
that's a very big
Just
number.
imagine, most of them were coming from town then to our school, but they managed us with good skills, which we went with to our university levels, and they helped a lot.
Okay.
The gentleman is called Haji Burhan Mugewa. He's still in our memories. And so that was, I left Chibibi in 2003 after my senior 6. But in class, I was not playing. I used even to sit on the front desk. You know, in senior 3, before senior 3, I was not focused so much. But you know, even when you go to school, like you're pleasing your parents. And my father used to tell me, my daughter, you're the only daughter I have. Please don't disappoint me. And you're among the older children that I have. I'm number 2 in our family. And I was like, please, my daughter, if you disappoint me, walai, the rest of your fellows. So all the time I could sit in class, I was like, what can I do to please my father? Me passing well, at that time it was like, I just want to please my father.
Wow.
Basically that.
Only pleasing that.
The father, but not me. Up to senior 4, that is when I realized.
You realized you have to do something for yourself.
Teachers came in and they're like, you people, this is your future. You're not studying for your parents. Be focused. That is when it came back to my senses and like, I had to concentrate. And being in a family with the children, we had financial issues to do with education. Education is not just expensive this time, but it used to be like that. But what I need to thank my father is, even when he did not have the fees to pay, he visited the offices. He could come. And it's like, HM. So he befriended them.
That is very important.
And the HM were there for us. It reached a time, actually I cannot tell, that I used to receive reports from senior 1 up to my senior 3. But every time, because of the balances, because they tell you, we shall not give you reports if you did not clear. For me, I was like,
at least you go to
I'm
class
still in
and
the same class.
exams.
I'm still in the same school. And I knew I could get papers. And I assessed myself. Why did I get a 60, a 50, a 70? Yeah, I have passed. And the following time, you sit in another class. And you're like, over the teacher will come and tell you, you know, in secondary school, you don't receive your papers immediately after finishing the exams. But you could say, over the teacher will come and chase me out of the class and just concentrate. Okay. So they could not come for me. Yes, now I passed. For me, I just continued. After realizing that I had to work for my future, then I had to concentrate. And I'm telling you, I started making serious revisions in senior 3. I had a friend of mine. I admired this girl. She joined our school in senior 3. But where she was coming from, I think it was a serious school. The girl could revise. I was like, how can I be like that? I decided to be friend. When I want you to be my friend, you cannot. I can't fail. So she became my friend, and she's called Hawa. She used to be my friend, and I learned how to revise, which I did not know. Given that my family was not that of educated one. The mothers and the father, they went up to a certain level. So for them, they could tell you, Bambi, revise, Bambi, pass, Bambi, do this, but you're like, "But how can I do it?" We used to go for preps, and they're like, in preps, you could just copy notes. And, so the girl was there. She was a well-behaving girl. I admired her, and we went together up to senior 6. So after my secondary level, university, and because of my background, and I don't even know how I got this, but I liked IU, Islamic University. Given the setting, other than the public universities, I don't know why, but we used to have teachers and used to tell us stories about life at the university. And how students behave at universities. And some of them fail to accomplish their studies. I'm not saying they are bad institutions, but the freedom is too much. Given that a student is given 24 hours for the whole semester of 4 months, she's the administrator of herself. Somebody may say, now the boy is grown up. Why do I need to be on him or her all the time? My dear parent, I'm telling you right from here, I have experience. Don't just expose your children. Please don't, because Satan is everywhere. You see those men around, especially to girls. Wherever they see those girls, they're like, she's enough for me. So,
I'm imagining your dad, the only daughter in the family, you've gone to university. Did he also follow you up?
Did he put me in a hostel? No, please. After being a man with other women, other wives, we had our mom in Kampala. So he said, Nalwanga, you're going to be getting out of this home to
come back.
And I thank God it is just there within Kampala. So it could take me only 1,000, 2,000.
That was
and it was not a daily, whatever. I used to study a weekend because I knew my background. And I call out this one to every student. Before you ask for any program, just make a flashback of your family. You ask a program that is not going to favor your parents in terms of finance, you're failing yourself. Just get that. Because transport is so costly. So for me, I went for a weekend. I could move only 2 days.
With a weekend program.
Then I had to struggle. I should be doing something during these 5 days, Monday to Friday, because I could not afford to ask my father every time
for transport. There are many also needs.
Indeed. And for you, like, if I get something to do, I can manage this. Talk about the photocopies, printing, courseworks, what? And our fathers, for us, we did not do those things that you want printing money for what? He could not imagine printing what. We're in a different generation with them.
So you had to do something as you study.
I looked for it for almost 2 years. I could not get. But I continued with my studies. But later on, I don't know how God helped me, and I started a photocopying business at that very institution.
Wow. Was it after you finishing the course?
No.
You were still a student there?
Still a student. And my father, being a gentleman of so many people, he was a friend to our director.
Now I see.
That gentleman, Dr. Karim Sesanga, he's now a consultant, senior consultant at UMY. So he used to be our director. Then I was like, if my father is a friend to him, he must be a friend to me. So it is a lesson also to parents out there that please be in your children's life. So that they get to know your friends.
Yeah, true.
Those friends are your friends, and at the same time, they can sympathize with your children in your presence, because in most cases, they don't want to do what? To disappoint your relationship. So I went to his office. He welcomed me, and I had to give him my views. Like, you see, director, I have a photo. I did not have it before, but I told him I have a photocopier. So can you allow me to bring it at your campus? The gentleman was, you can put it in writing. I did. And I had to run for it. From where I just had a friend in class, I studied with mature men and women. So one of them helped me, and I got that photocopy. I could get handouts from class, run and make them and bring them back to class. I distribute and get that.
A working student.
Wow. And the director was like, I met him last month, and was like, you girl, I liked you. You as young as you were, but you had minds that could make somebody, for somebody who is responsible. So I thank him for that. That was my journey, my starting journey.
It's a beautiful one, and if you're watching, I think you're picking out both for the parents and also the students who are still going to school. Yes.
So I finished my first degree in 2007, and I graduated from IUIU. But the funny bit of it, the day I graduated, I made my graduation ceremony is the day I introduced.
Those are double blessings.
Indeed. Actually, what I need to tell our young sisters, we have to be focused. And we have to plan ahead. Okay? Because if you don't do so, you're going to waste a lot of time. And time will not wait for you. These ages we grow, we acquire every time. They have specific duties you must be doing. You have to plan for your marriages before leaving the university. Because I did not initiate it personally. And another thing is, they should come closer to older people, older than them. I used to be a friend of certain two ladies. One was an accountant, and another one was a secretary of a certain institution. And every time they could see me, they could ask me, Radhia, after school, what are you planning?
I know the questions are too many, mainly in the final year.
Oh my God, that was around the third year.
Asking.
The ladies were like, Radhia, what now? Are you going to ride around on streets, morning to evening, looking for jobs? Who tells you that you'll get the jobs? Hajat, I'll get. I could give excuses, but then the ladies were too tough on me. Later on, I could So one of them was like, you see, Radhia, I have my son. He's a teacher somewhere, an engineer, and I would love her to to marry her. I said, oh, Hajati, no. At the moment, those excuses we normally give, like, Hajati, no. And the other one was also, I also have another one. Oh my God. I was like, these people are very serious. So later on, and you know, like, someone was somewhere there. I was like, it seems I have to make a decision now. Even the father could say, like, my good daughter, my dearest, then you're ending your career, your education level. What is your plan? Oh. But now, the parents, we should be serious out there with our children. You see your child as someone who is very young. But let me tell you this. What you tell your child is what she's going to go by. Be it a girl or a boy, just tell them what is relevant at that particular time. I have seen girls over 28 years, they haven't decided whether they are going to marry and when. But they're outside there are dating. Dating with who? If that person is not serious, that means you're staying with that person who is not also focused. When do you hope to start your journey? It is also very. Actually, it has helped me.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it wasn't.
sometimes.
It wasn't my vision. But after, given the fact that I befriended these ladies, they were always on me. So I had to say like, okay, let me do this. They could tell me, you'll be in that, we call it unproductive stage. Unproductive stage when you're nursing the children. If you want to go career-wise, you give yourself a maximum of 10 years. Babysitting your children. So within those 10 years, what will you be doing? Oh, I was like, so I have to get married. I spend that time so that after 10 years, I'll be somewhere. Focused on my career.
And I think that will take us direct to your work and
your
career.
work.
Yes.
Oh
So
my
Hajat,
God.
what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
And how did I start?
And how did
After my bachelor's, I told you my father was that person. He got from a job. It was him from his friend who was a businessman, and I did my first degree was in accounting. So I used to do auditing. He had so many shops that I could audit under the guidance of the external auditor. I did that for some good 2 years or 1.5. Then after getting married, I have to run away from that job. So I came back to Kampala. I used to do that within areas of Masaka, that side. So I had to come back to Kampala. Then I concentrated my marriage with another business, a private one, in a stationery. I did not stop my business of stationery.
Stayed there.
Wow. I just grew it with so many computers, and I was now exposed. And I'm like, let me concentrate here. Given that I'm now giving birth, nobody will accommodate me. And even if they do, I'll not get time for my children. So I stayed there for some years. And for those years, I can tell 2007 come up to around 2003. That is when I came back to
Kampala.
Yes. No, I came back to productive life. I worked with an organization called Soft Team Technical Consults and IT as a business development manager. And for some 3-4 years. But during that time, I had to go back for studies. I thanked my husband. We agreed, and he sponsored me. I went back for my master's.
Wow.
Before finishing the master's, I was like, now I could go for lecturing. Yeah. Now they ask for experience, the papers I have. Oh, I asked for a job after defending my research dissertation. I started asking for lecturing. They did not welcome me because the papers were not yet out. But I kept trying. And my master's in Islamic banking and finance. So I had to put what I studied in practice. Later on, they called me that you have offered you the post of lecturer at where? Islamic University College. So we worked there, and then during that time, we looked for ways of promoting Islamic banking and finance because we liked it. We're a group of some good many men and women, but I identified a few men. I don't know. I'm so attracted to because
I know the background is still in that
line.
Yeah.
And I saw them as active guys. One of them passed away.
Oh, sorry.
And so we started making campaigns for Islamic banking from underground. And I could get in touch with other senior citizens. So later on, as I was lecturing, at the same time I was doing this. Afterwards, then I was like, then I started this professional job of banking, but not as an MD. No, as a junior. I started in customer care, later on in credit, and afterwards, like, my boss was given another job by the state, and then I had to get in. But before that, when I joined the banking, I found out that I miss a lot in finance. My other degrees could not hold me at that time.
I see you going back.
Indeed, I did. I had to go back. I went back to UMY.
So learning never ends.
Indeed, it doesn't. What you get is what asks for more papers. So I went back to UMY. It was hot for me, being a full-time mother with the academics, because I was a lecturer, and I was still working, no leave. Still, I added on another stationery. I ran up and down. It was so stressful, but I thank God I finished it. It was a 1-year course, and later on I concentrated at work. So, as a banker, indeed, what I'm requesting the public is to know that banking is a disciplined industry. If you are not disciplined, just don't dare to join banking. It can put you in that direction, whereby you have to be a responsible person. Come on the things of reporting and other many things. The dressing code, the way you behave. There are some groups you cannot socialize with just because of what you're doing.
Because of the job.
Oh my God. So actually what I have realized, every industry has its own culture and discipline, but this one, it is in its own category. So I tell you, after the other ones, at least the other ones you would say, now because I'm just a customer care, I'll do whatever I want. Who tells you? You're the face of the institution. They could call you for TV shows. Now just imagine, who is that person they have called you? Who is representing an institution? What I need to tell everybody, that let us mind about our future. You're someone who is not yet responsible, but think of a certain period. They're going to call you for a certain job, and that job will dismiss you just because of your history. If you have a data one, just get to know you will not go through it. At the level of an MD, the board of directors have to go through you to get into your history and what you're going for. Basically, we need to keep our histories. We need to remain focused. I call upon our parents there, my fellow parents. Be in your children's lives. Children is their education. Your child is not performing well. It's not because she's dense.
A lazy one all.
No. She needs somebody to guide her. Don't just think that I've sent her to school and the teachers there will be there for her or him. No. Just look at that child at school. The teacher is dealing with so many of them. I've told you I'm a lecturer. You normally move with those students that you move. Okay? And there are students, especially this period. Students are like, They do whatever they want. You can't force somebody's child to do something. A certain person, a certain parent did what? We're moving together, and she was like, Hajati, do you know that I have only one child? I have a problem. When I get near you, I try to inspire you. So this woman, I used to see her, and I could find out, I wanted to find out who she was and what she does. So later on, deep in our conversation, she narrated that Hajat, me, I have only one child in life. In my life, I have only one, and I don't want even the teacher to do anything to her. Just imagine that one. So once a teacher gets parents like that one, the way he treats your children will be that kind. You can imagine. So you as a parent, even these teachers do not want to be culminated into different issues. So as a parent, be there, find out how your child is studying. When they come back from school, get into their books, find out what are they doing. How is she writing during COVID time. Personally, I used to teach my children. I got books from the institution, and I used to teach them, but I started from the lower level, thinking that maybe there is something a teacher did not talk about. Let me get this opportunity to do it with your child. And even afterwards, for me, I go to their school. Sometimes, being a working lady, I fail to make it on time. On visitation day, I don't go on the right time, and sometimes I do not go. Because on weekends you lecture, Monday to Friday you in bank, you somewhere. So I do apologize a lot. And during my time, because I have to find time for them, I have to go to every teacher. I ask them, how is this one performing? If she's not all that well, the time I get her home, we could go back to books. And afterwards, she or he improves. So parents there, find time for children, find time for even those teens you're seeing. The teens outside there have 2 or 3 principles I'm giving you if you want to prosper, if you want to succeed, to be successful. 1, be focused. Other things will come on their way because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. Why are you so worried over tomorrow? I want to study very quickly and then I get a job. Then after getting it, what are you going to do? I get my own money, yes. Now for those so many years, have you been the one that has been taking care of yourself? The answer is no. But even my parents are tired of me over what? Just remain focused. In our religion, first they tell us, and it is the reality, that once a child grows up, she's out of school, hope that girl or boy to get a partner. And once they show you that they are in that, try as much as you can to get them legalized. Let them find where to stay. You as a parent, it is your responsibility not to keep that child with you at home, because you're killing her future. You're killing her future. She's now 25. She has not yet decided. Just think some 10 years to come. Where is she going to be? By that time, she has to be a productive person. Every time you just misuse, just get to know, you'll regret it in the future. So, girls, be focused. Be good planners. Have your own future in your hands. That after this, I'll do this. After this, during this time, I must be doing this. You cannot declare what God will say or what will do for you. But you have your own plan. Do your best so that when that time comes, you'll be in position to do that. Another one, befriend those older people. When we are still teens, you think like you're so wise than any other you see. You see those big ladies near you, what you're going through, they have gone through them several times. They have messed up. They have done so many manyanga.
Yeah, and Hajat, on that point, I think it brings out the relevance of this show, Women Rise, Women at the Front Lines, because we bring you people who have been there, people who have moved those stories, and you listen to them, they advise you, pick something from their stories. I'm sure you'll also add something.
So girls.
And then Hajat, that will take us to you're a mother, you're a banker, you do many things. Let us focus on this banking sector. How is banking? How do you start the Hijaz Finance?
Number one,
bank.
Time management is
time management.
To manage all those responsibilities, time management. And at my early ages, I did not join bank. I didn't want to join banking.
So you didn't?
I didn't want
even in the
before.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I opted for other industries. I was like, but those people all the time, they're indoors and But later on, you don't know Manange, what God plans for you. I found myself where?
Banking.
But how can you manage this? You can finish your day-to-day duties, like tutelers and other accountants and others. You finish whatever you do at around 4 or 5. Now you go back in. You have to balance the things. You have to do what? But bear it at your mind that you have the family at home. How are you going to travel? I find myself jumping on borders. You know, ladies, we are multitasked.
I know.
We are multitasked. You're at work, but you're thinking of home.
What will they eat? Are they home yet?
Are they home yet?
A lot of things.
What is the maid doing for them? Okay? So you have to balance these things. If it means time for doing this, please and please, you leave the rest, but you have to fulfill the other one. Remember, I've been in books, and you have to revise. You find sleeping for lesser hours. By 4:30, you're already awake. Prepared not to find jam on the way. Okay? Remember, when it comes going back home, you may not go back on time. And at a certain point, you're like, let me leave the car somewhere. Then I jump. Okay? Because you have to be a good time manager. And just imagine, you're the lead of the rest. You have to be in office on time, so that you teach them the time management. You cannot tell somebody to do this you cannot do.
Yeah.
Yes? So as mothers, we need to be more responsible than even the fathers. And you'll excuse me to say this.
It's okay.
This time round, our fathers are not like those other fathers. Yes? The responsibilities they do carry are not like theirs they used to carry on us. You find a woman at home, she's the mother, she's the father, she's everyone. So if you're such a lazy mother, you're not cheating yourself. You're cheating your children. You're cheating on your children, whereby you're going to disappoint them. Remember, I have to be a mother and a good mother. That means you have to attend to work. You have to be there for their financial needs, whether you like it or not.
They're all looking at
and
you.
And even if the father gives, it will not be enough. Because there are things a child will ask you, that man, when you get money, my children are very funny. Mommy, when God gives you money, buy for me this. Buy for me this. I'm like, how can you tell me? At a certain point, you're like, okay, now I don't have. Because you don't want to disappoint them.
Of course.
Now I don't have, but I'm assuring you, anytime I get it, I'll get you something. There are others whom you'll promise, Mommy, just promise me if I make these points, you're going to buy
give me
me a
this.
bike. How can you fulfill that promise if you don't have your own money? So ladies out there, we need to get out.
Our own money.
That is it. And these days it is not our own. It is for it's our money now. We thank President Museveni at least. He made it for us as ladies. Yes, the environment, I don't know how it called it. I just found myself in it. But at least ladies, move out. If you're a certain lady who is sitting there at home, yes, at this particular moment, the father can provide. Just think of the time he's going to pass out. He's going to pass on. You have your 3 children. You may call them. But when the first child, the firstborn is at, let me say it, 12 years, the father passes on. But you're a kind of person who has been sitting home waiting for him to provide always. Just imagine what your children are going to go through.
Yeah.
So as
challenging.
mothers, personally, I used to imagine it. And for the time I was babysitting my children, I thought of it. Most of my time I was like, my way of giving birth was quite funny. That you find my children, you might even say these are twins. I didn't like it, but God made it for me. Yeah. And later on, I appreciated it. But during that period, I was like, now the father is there, can take care of everything. What about if he passes on? They normally don't want us to say that, but that is the reality.
Yeah, it's the reality.
Because me being at home, waiting for everything, that means when you're not there, I'll not be in position, to stand in where you have been providing. True. For us, if we do that, if it passes on, and for you can continue with life because you've been the breadwinner. But now, you're not there. That means our fathers outside there, our dear husbands, allow your wives to go out and experience the world.
Wow.
And help them to withstand all the challenges in the working field. Ladies out there, they do face a lot. Some wanting to enter into those ones, and others are just convinced by the fellows. But it's just because they want to. But out there in a working environment, so challenging to those working there, who are working their own businesses. They need rent, transport, feeding, even at home. So if the father is not there, when the father is not there, that means this woman has to find her way out, whether you like it or not. So if she's in that area of private business, please try at a certain point injecting something in terms of finance. Because if you're a kind of person like, it is up to her. And she chose to work. Let her face the reality, my friend. The reality is going to negatively impact on you.
All of you.
So as in line of banking, I said, I'm the MD, Hijaz Finance. Hijaz is a financial institution run on principles of Islamic banking and finance. So, what do? And why Hijaz? I say this, and everybody is a witness. Our banking sector is full of foreigners. And what you get from those institutions is just the services. You go in, they serve you, they give you loans, you pay back. Everything you do, interest. But you do not benefit from it. You don't benefit from whatever they charge you. So what are we saying? So for those who can remember how Centenary started, Centenary is owned, the majority shares are for Ugandans. So Hijaz also, when you join, you have to get shares. which shares translate into dividends, which dividends you'll get.
So who joins Hijazi Finance
Any
Bank? Any
Ugandan.
Ugandan.
So long as you're Ugandan, you have a national ID, you have a passport, you have a driving permit, either of those, you can join Hijaz. For those with smartphones, you go on Play Store, we have our app, Hijaz Finance app. And the Apple Store, there is it Hijaz Mobile? Yes. We have a website, www.hijazfinance.com. We have a platform on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us. And what should you expect to get from Hijaz? One, those who need loans which do not bear interest, come to Hijaz.
Wow.
We shall teach you the models we use, but it is not interest. You know, the funny bit is, when you're in need of something, at that particular moment you have thought of it, you run for it, but develop a relationship. And when we go, by the time we go for those loans, we don't think of the point, we call it in finance compounding. Most of us could afford to pay the loans back, but the way the things are calculated, just get to somebody to take you through. That is how you'll realize that I cannot manage this. So in Hijaz, with whatever you get from a banking sector, the commercial bank, you're not yet a bank, we're a circle.
Okay.
But any service you get from a bank, apart from those services that involve in going out of the country, forex bureaus, we don't have. But we do bank, we do service using our saving products. We have this personal accounts, we have the business accounts, we have the school account, joint. Mention them even for groups and youth, and especially those ones. Like groups, women are there they're having their groups. You can find Mildred doesn't have a security, and a friend has. She can stand in for you. For you, don't worry. The bank is there. We are there to demand your money.
Wow.
To demand our money from that tower, to recover it so that your security is not gone. We give out loans, LPO, we finance businesses, those smaller businesses. We're looking for those chapatis, operators, those women with budala, somebody with a tailoring business. You need a kajola that you can get your pieces. We can provide you. Come at any level, but just be trustworthy.
Okay.
Yes, and a transparent person.
True, that is very important.
Yes.
So Hajat, where do we see Hijaz in 20 years
Oh
as
my
we come
God.
to the end of the
Oh my God, Hijaz, not
conversation?
even up to 20 years. Hijaz, we are circle just because the law, that is what it provides. At the moment, our central bank, Bank of Uganda, has not given out the regulations for Islamic banking and finance. And for us, we wanted to practice it. The only window that was available was for a circle. Okay? So we are circle because that is what it tells. In just a few years to come. Yes, because now we are closing to half a decade. In a few years to come, Hijaz will have transformed into a commercial bank.
Wow.
But at that point, nobody will be buying shares. So at the moment, if you wish to invest, you want to do a certain business without your personal involvement, just buy a share from Hijaz. We have fixed deposit accounts, whereby you fix your money and at the end of it, we share the profits that get out of it. For the those
maybe
who
for
want
our
to
viewers,
do,
Hijaz is fully registered with the Ministry of Trade.
and that's supervised by the microfinance.
Yes, so we will have you're with the right people.
Actually, I call upon the public to visit us. Our offices are found on Conrad Plaza, where Nasa Road meets Entebbe Road. We shall wait for you. Those girls are there with those big smiles. of a certain gentleman, Mildred, whoever is around, please come, get to know the people you're dealing with. The scammers are also there. Don't follow up somebody from online, send money, give you this.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Hajat. Indeed, quite an interesting story. In your last remarks, to the girl out there, to the young woman out there, in 1 minute as you conclude.
Young girl, young woman. A young girl, be focused.
Focus.
A young girl, plan. A young girl, befriend the elders. Don't distance yourself from them. To women, still be focused. The Gen S this time, you think you're cheating on your husband, you're creating problems to your children. You just imagine, you're having 3 children, each one is having his own father. Just imagine, what kind of life are they going to go through?
True.
Once I met somebody who was a border guy, and I was like, you know, Hajat, for me, I grew one in my family, and my father's had other children. But I got a problem and no one was there to listen to me. I had nobody to talk to. Mothers, you creating problems to your children. Please be faithful to your husbands. Let them do what they want. Mind about your children's future, and be hardworking ladies. In this Uganda today, you cannot manage it. If you are in Chiganda, we say ngalo bunani. At work, you should be there. At home, you should be there. Any other job you could do, please pursue it. We thank you. I thank you, Civic Space TV, for this opportunity, for the girls there to learn from the seniors, for the women who have been there relaxed. Please get out of the comfort zone. And to everybody, I encourage everyone, you can do. We say Osobola. From our humble background, Osobola. Just remain focused. Thank you so much, Mildred, for hosting me, and Civic Space TV.
Thank you very much, Hajat. Thank you, our viewers. I think you've heard it from her. Yes, to all the women out there, be focused, plan, and then have people around you. Because in this life, in this world, you cannot do everything on your own. You need people, you need people, you need people as much as possible. Yes, as much as possible. Thank you very much, our viewers. Thank you for always tuning into Civic Space TV. I've been your host, Naiga Madrin. Remember to hit our comment section, share your comments, and always follow our conversations. Thank you to our production team, the people behind the camera. Thank you all. Have a nice day. See you.